Hey guys, so today I have a quick Spark AR Studio tutorial for you. Spark AR Studio is a program that comes from Facebook and Instagram and allows you to create AR filters for their platforms. So I'm going to go ahead and click Spark AR Studio. We're going to click Create Project. So this is basically what your initial layout of the software is going to look like. So the first thing that I'm actually going to do is see my camera preview. I'm going to go ahead and change that to one of these three ladies. This is a beauty filter tutorial, so it's going to be geared towards women, so I want to make sure that it looks good on the different skin tones and face shapes provided here. I'm going to go ahead and stick with her. So then you want to add object. It's the first thing you want to do. You want to add a face tracker. This is going to track all of her like just facial movements, and it is essential for the buildup of your mask. So you want to right click, you want to add a face mesh. This is going to track also the face, but it's going to put like a layer over the face. I like to start off with my retouch layer, so I'm going to go ahead and rename this face mesh retouch. And now I'm going to go ahead and head over to the right of my panel, and this will pop up, and I want to add a material. So you can see a new material has been created, and it's going to show up in your assets panel at the bottom left. I'm going to go ahead and rename this retouch as well, just to keep everything organized and neat so there's no confusion caused. As you can see, you now have a sort of a mask placed on there that's tracking her movement and her facial expressions. So what you want to do is you want to head over to shader type on the right, and you want to essentially, you have a bunch of different options here for whatever you decide to put on the face for the filter. The one that we're going to go with for today is going to be the retouching, and this is going to give you like a smoothing effect. So if we make her bigger, you'll be able to see if I put it on 100, you'll get a lot of that blurriness, and if you put it down, you won't see as much. Now, I like to unclick full screen because I still like my picture quality to be good. So I want to see the sharpness in the hair in the background, and I like to keep my skin smoothing between 20 to 30. So I try to keep this around 25, 28. I've set it to 28. And this is going to give you that face tune effect kind of that you want, that blurs any blemishes on your skin and kind of makes it a tiny bit brighter. So that's the first thing that I like to start off with. Now I'm going to go ahead and add another face mesh, right click. I'm just going to rename this really quick, and then I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to add a face mesh. I'm going to rename this face. Now, I've got a lot of questions on how to do face distortion. So the deformation is right under materials. Policy awareness of her Instagram has changed, so they're not accepting any filters that resemble plastic surgery, bigger lips, etc. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do it anyway, just because it has been requested. So you want to add it here. And as you can see, I have all of my face objects here, which are the deformations, and this is the one that I use as the base for all my filters. But I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to make your own. So you want to head over to this website, and I will have everything linked below, especially where to download SPARKAR, etc. And this is kind of like an online 3D program. So you want to go to scene, you want to clear scene, and then you want to head over to your face assets, which is provided by SPARKAR in the references, and I will have this folder linked down as well. You want to head into mesh, and then you want to go ahead and open up your face mesh from inside the folder. And this is going to give you the base of what a face 3D object looks like. So we're going to change our tool to move instead of brush, and here you can start moving the physical features of the face. So if you want to make the nose smaller, you see, you just bring it in from both sides, and feel free to change the radius X on the brush here that is move. I'm pushing up the nose. I've also seen a lot of people kind of lift the eyes at the end. You could also do that. You could honestly do whatever you wanted here. Again, Instagram could deny your filter for having deformation on it, or they could not. It's honestly up to the person reviewing it. But as you can see, I'm just still morphing the face. I'm starting with the lips now. This is kind of how you'll get that Alexandra Kissa Holy Maria filter. So they used to definitely play up the lips a lot. This is what got their filters removed in the first place. So again, if you don't want to waste your time, completely skip this step. If you want to take into consideration the amount of time that people are waiting to get filters approved with deformation, it is now November 20th. People have been waiting for a month, since October 20th. So it's really up to your own discretion at this point, whatever you want to do. People without deformations uploaded are seeing a wait time of 1 to 5 days, so it really is up to you. So you can play up here the cheeks. You can take in a bunch of stuff. So you can see this is why Instagram has put in this new well-being policy, because these things could easily resemble plastic surgery. You can make the eyes bigger. You can undo things here. And then when you want to save it, when you're done, when you're happy with how it looks, you're going to click save.obj. That's going to save right into your downloads folder, wherever you decided to save it. So we're just going to open up SPARKAR again. And this is where we're going to put in that saved 3D object. So I'm just going to use my base one that I have. And as you can see, it made her nose smaller. It made her lips a little bit bigger. And you can see like it's taken up the eyes a bit. So now you'll see that these things have been created in your assets folder. I'm just going to close face, and I'm going to rename the material that came with it. I'm going to go ahead and add another face mesh. And now this is where I get started on my mask. The other two are kind of just like basic ones that I put underneath. So this is what, like if you want to do tattoo or like whatever you want to put on your face, you can create it here. So we're going to create a new material. I'm going to name it mask as well. And then before I even start messing with any of this, I'm going to change it to flat on the shader type, because I find that flat gives you the highest quality color, so your graphics are going to look better. Then I'm going to go ahead and open up my Photoshop, and I do use Photoshop and Procreate on my iPad to create my filters. So what you want to do is you want to click open. You want to head into the face assets folder that we've been using throughout this entire tutorial, and you want to click on textures. Now, SPARKAR has provided a flat face, which you can use to input your designs on it. You have masculine and you have a feminine one. I'm going to go ahead and stick with the feminine one. And now you'll see how this is the actual size of the object. So I'm going to go ahead and click image size. I do like to check my resolution, because I do like my graphics to look really good on camera and all lighting. So I'm going to go ahead and change that to 150. And as you can see, my width and my height have been adjusted for me in pixels based on my resolution. So this is just going to give me a bigger canvas to work with. As you can see, it just adjusted itself. I'm going to go ahead and add a new layer. And now I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm going to head on into Google. You can create your own images and your own designs, or you can just get them from Google. So I'm just gonna Google something like dragon PNG, and every time you Google something that you want to use, you want to make sure you're using PNG at the end or transparent, so that it doesn't come with a background. So we'll just look through these, and you see how the background is transparent on that one. That's exactly what you want, especially if you're starting out. I didn't find any good ones, but I also like to look on Pinterest. Pinterest has a lot of illustrations available for you. So you could use something like this. You could even use something like this and put it on the face, like face tattoos. But I'm just going to go ahead and look up the same thing that I was looking up before. So I'm going to look up dragon PNG. So as you can see, you get a lot of like transparent background ones, and you can always click on it and it'll redirect you to download the actual file. I think I like this one the best. Yeah, So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy image. I will say though, be careful with taking other artists' works. But just for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm not going to go through me drawing a dragon. So I'm just going to go ahead and save one from the internet. As you can see, the artist watermark is right there. So I'm just going to tell you, like, try to find one that isn't marked up. I'm going to go ahead and Command V this, so it's going to paste it for me. You could also go to Edit Paste. It's just easier for me to use keyboard shortcuts. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to just remove this watermark. So I'm going to hit delete on my keyboard after selecting the little square. And as you can see, now you are left with this white background. So there are different ways to remove the white background. Oops, I have an extra layer. So I'm just going to show you guys the first way that most people do it. So I suggest you deselect your face, and then you're going to go to select color range. You're going to use the eyedropper to click on the white background, and you're going to remove the fuzziness as much as you can. So I have it at 150. It's going to select all the white parts, and then you're just going to hit delete on your keyboard, and there you go. But as you can see, if you zoom in here, it just looks very sloppy. It looks kind of like you copied it from someone. The quality is not that great because you still get these pixelized white spaces left from the background you removed. So I'm just going to undo everything. So now we're starting off with how it was. And what I like to do is I like to adjust the thickness and the blackness of the line. So I'm going to go to image and then levels. I'm going to push up the black ink so you can see if I move it all the way. I'm gonna do it around 61, and then I'm gonna also bring up that white background, and I'm gonna hit OK. Then I'm gonna go to my left toolbar and I'm gonna hit the magic wand, and I have it at 5x5 with a tolerance of 32. I'm just gonna click on white space, delete, white space, delete, white space, delete, white space, delete. I'm hitting delete on my keyboard. So as you can see, you're left with the white on the inside, and I'll just show you like an easy way to get rid of that. So we're going to change our layer opacity to multiply. So you can see it looks way better. You don't get those pixelized white pieces. And if you wanted to make this darker, you could just duplicate the layer by dragging it to the little paper, and then you can see the lines get darker, and then I'm going to merge them into one layer. Then I'm going to go to edit, free transform, and move it around to where I want to on the face. So I kind of want it to go by the eye and kind of down to the face. So you're going to get a bit of distortion here because the tongue is going straight through the eye. And when you blink and open your eye. So I'm just going to erase the tongue for the purposes of this tutorial. So I'm just fixing my settings here so that it erases properly. And you want to get as close as possible, and then I'm just going to grab a black brush and redraw the line as if to close it there myself. This looks bad. Probably because my settings are off. So let me change this to 100 and this to 100 and change this to 2 because you want it to be like the same size. And now we get a clear, sharper brush. So when you zoom out, you really don't even notice that the tongue is missing. We're going to leave it like that. We're going to uncheck our face. We're going to go to File, because now you have a clear background. We're going to go to File, Export, Quick Export as PNG. You want to save it as a PNG so that your background is transparent, and you want to save this to wherever you want. I'm just going to name it Dragon. I'm going to click Save. I'm going to open up my SPARKAR Studio. Going to click on the mask material down here, and I'm going to go ahead to Texture, and I'm going to choose File. I'm going to go over to my desktop and click the image we have just saved. And as you can see, it's got it on her face, and it did import it with the whiteness in it. So And just as we did on Photoshop, we're going to go down to our blend mode and change it from alpha to multiply. And there you go. Now it's clear. And also what you want to do, make sure is on all your illustrations, make sure you have no compression so that it doesn't blur out your illustrations. You also want to go to project, edit properties, capabilities, face tracking. It's going to be on standard. You want it on high so that it is as closest to your face as possible and it's tracking better than usual. And you can see what it looks like here on all these different ladies and men. So I usually like to do more than just one thing on my filter. So let's see, I'll add another face mesh, and I think I'm just gonna add some freckles to this, just like some good old freckles. So I'm gonna name this freckles. I'm gonna do the same thing, create a new material, and it's gonna show up here. And I'm actually going to rename it freckles. And then, as you can see, these are kind of like layers, so I'm going to move my freckle face mesh up so that my mask, which is the dragon, is the top the top layer. So the freckles are underneath that. So that's one way to do it if you're familiar with layers. Before I even touch this, I'm going to go ahead and head back into Photoshop. I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to go to my brushes. I'm going to change my color to resemble like a natural freckle color. I don't know. I'm just kind of eyeballing this. I'm going to click on my freckles brush. And I'm actually going to make this bigger. So I'm just going to turn on the opacity so it doesn't look so drawn on. And I'm also going to change my flow to 40. So now if I zoom in, you can tell that I've started drawing. So you see these little freckles. You just want to place them wherever you think is natural. I'm thinking I'm just going to cover the whole face with freckles. So that's what I'm going to do here. The trick to making freckles look more natural is to have them placed randomly. There should be no order to them, and they shouldn't all be the same size or shape. This is how it occurs naturally on the skin. So I'm just going to fill up the face with freckles. And I know you can't see it on the edges because of the color and the opacity, but it is there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to keep on filling until I feel like it's all right. And remember, less is more when it comes to freckles. You can always build up later on. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my eraser tool, and I'm going to make this bigger. And I'm going to change the hardness to 0 so that it's a soft brush. And let's see, I actually want it bigger than that, so I'm going to go ahead and do 300. Now I want to change my opacity so it doesn't erase it completely, but instead just kind of like fades it out. So you want to fade it out as freckles would normally fade on the face. So I'm just doing my thing. And the only place I'm not going to fade it out is by the nose and the cheeks, because this is where you tend to see concentration of it. Now I'm going to go ahead and add another freckle layer, and I'm going to rename all my layers in Photoshop so that I stay organized. And there's no confusion as to what is in what layer. So I'm going to create a second layer with freckles. You really do want to layer them so that they don't all look like, because your skin grows new cells, so you have freckles underneath those, and then you have new freckles. So I'm just going to continue doing this, and I'm just changing the settings as I go along. So feel free to play around with the freckles however you want them. So then you want to unselect your face, and you want to unselect your dragon. You're going to save this same process that we did with the dragon. You're going to go to File, Export, Quick as PNG, and I'm just going to name it Freckles. You want to go into Spark AR. You want to click on texture, choose files. You want to load that freckle folder, that freckle image. Again, no compression. Make sure that you're always checking this. You want to go to freckles, and I'm going to send this to my phone to check and see how the freckles look. So it actually looks pretty good. You're not going to be able to see it here, but I will insert a clip at the end of this video of me testing it on my phone. I'm going to go ahead and change it to multiply though. So I'm going to change it to flat and then multiply. And I'm going to test this on my phone again. And I'm really liking the way this looks, actually. I will test out the opacity. So bringing it down to kind of make it look more natural. And testing that out. This actually looks really, really nice. I may consider uploading this one. So this is me just sending this to my iPhone and previewing it on the Spark AR app. So I like the way it looks, and I'm going to go ahead and check it out on these other models. As you can see, this is what it looks like. You can't really see the freckles unless you try it on your own face. But they're there. So after you're satisfied with what it looks like, you're going to go to File and you're going to go to Export. You want to make sure that all devices are clicked so that it's available on iOS, Android, and older Android phones. You want to export. I'm going to go ahead and save this as Dragon just on my desktop. And then it should appear right there. And now to upload it to Spark AR, we're just going to go to the website and click Manage Effects because I have effects already uploaded. I'm going to click Upload Effect. You can choose to either upload to Facebook or Instagram for your filter, and then you can name it whatever. Okay, that looks horrible. I'm just going to name it Dragon. And then if it's not promoting anything, you want to go next, and then this is where you will upload an icon. And this is where your file will go. The file you exported. As you can see, my effect will need additional review time because it does have that face deformation on it. So it might be your review effect more than the standard 10 days. So again, it should take longer than 10 days. And that's just because of the well policy. So they could deny your filter. They could not. It depends on the reviewer again. But that's about it. After this, you'll go through all the other steps listed on the left. So you'll be able to see the preview. And this is what it looks like.